I grew up with, Algerians, with Colombians, with Haitians, with Salvadorians, and we all kind of grew up together and we all had like that. My name is Ilya. My actual name is Ilyas Hasnawi. I was born in Rabat, and I moved to the U.S. at a very young age, and I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm an artist at heart. My passion for music comes from my dad, I'm gonna say. Growing up, he was the first one to actually get me a guitar, and I started like learning how to sing and playing a guitar. And also like prior to that, like I used to sing like in front of my mom, in front of my parents, and they always like encouraged me. And yeah, I think that's where my passion started. No, I always say this. I'm blessed of having the both worlds. Sorry, shaping who I am and shaping my sound. So it's always best to kind of have a dual kind of personality or dual culture, so you can take the positive of both worlds. Honestly, outside of music, yes, you always feel like a cultural shock. Like, even when I come back sometimes to Morocco, I do kind of feel certain things where I have to kind of not adapt, but kind of like have a, we call it code switching. So like you switch up like some certain codes based on where you are. But I feel like once you're on stage, it doesn't matter what country you're at, that music becomes the sole language. So that becomes a unified moment between you and the public. So it doesn't matter if you sing in English or Arabic or Spanish, people are gonna vibe to the sound to it. A fun fact: I had a show in Slovakia, and I played the song "Yed Leli" with Don Big in front of 15,000 Slovak people, and guess what? They were all singing "Yed Leli." So I think it's a big win. A lot of people when they go to like shows, they kind of take a minute where they switch off their brain, they turn it off, and they just focus on the music and just have an enjoyable moment. So if we can bring that moment every single time you play my music on the, in your AirPods, then that's a win. It's a responsibility because the reason why every artist does music is because they love to see the other people's reactions. They want to see people having fun. They want to see people dance to their music. And we are givers as artists. We like to give. We like to provide joy and these beautiful moments for those people. So I do think, yes, because I chose this job and I chose this passion of mine, it is my responsibility to bring joy to people. So. Well, I grew up, growing up like my mom back in 2007, because I grew up with my mom in Boston. She lost her house in the 2007 market crisis that happened in the US. So she wasn't homeless, but she had to kind of use the government aid, and we kind of lived in the projects. The projects is like these housing that the government lets you use until you're back on your feet. So that period of time, I grew up with, Algerians, with Colombians, with Haitians, with Salvadorians, and we all kind of grew up together, and we all had like that, that positive thing within us. And that positive was like, sorry, not a positive, it's like a strength. And that strength is, okay, well, my background is Morocco, your background is Algeria, your background is Colombia, your background is Haiti, and we all kind of like not compete, but we try to show like in Morocco, this is what we do. This is what we do best. This is the best thing. So Colombians will do the same thing. So like we'll go to each other's houses and experience these cultures. And I feel like that was a beautiful thing because now, I can see different cultures and understand them more. And it makes me proud to even more Moroccan because now I have things to share to other people that are not from the same country. I will choose one of my favorite songs, which is Let Me Love You by Mario. Baby, I just don't get it. Do you enjoy being hurt? I know you smell the perfume, the makeup on his shirt. You don't believe his stories, you know that they're all lies. bad as you are, stick around. I just don't know why.